The bulk and essence of the people that live in Los Angeles are fully aware of the dangers of air pollution. Air pollution is something that has become increasingly more of a threat to all of us over the last 10 years, especially in the last 5 years since the growing industry demands, the growing automobiles, the population. These are hazards that have become a monster and gotten out of control. Air in Los Angeles, maybe 50 years ago, was really perfectly clear. You could see the mountains, you'd look out your window, let's say you lived on a hill, you could see for miles, because basically it was a clear city that did not really have air pollution or anything to clutter up the molecules and to give us poison to breathe. This poison that we breathe has such an effect on our overall body and mind that it's hard to say medically exactly what happens. We do know this, that smog in sufficient doses can kill a person. Smog is something that we have not really been aware of because it's a subliminal problem for most people. It doesn't really reach their consciousness. It bothers them, but they don't really know what's bothering them. For this reason, each individual really can't stay on this problem and tackle it, because I'll tell you one thing, smog will come in, let's say, in summer and fall. Okay, so there's a couple bad days of smog. Fine, everybody does their best to cope. A few people reach a senator or two, maybe the politicians are in there pitching, but the smog subsides, and therefore, because it's not a continual problem, we all forget about it. But look, you can't forget about a problem that's in time going to be an absolute killer. And if it gets too heavy and too serious, everyone that's listening is suffering just like I am. I can't even keep my eyes open. I opened up my bathroom window today, and I almost choked to death, because I looked out and I saw smog hovering in between the trees, and that's not a nice sight to see. So we can laugh about it, we can cry about it. You choose to do what you want. I say this, let's try to achieve that air pollution goal. Let's try to get air clean again, just like it was maybe 50 years ago when the people here that used to live in Los Angeles breathed good air, and I'm sure because of that their whole systems were cleaner and their frames of mind better, and their whole life had a better flow to it. Now, okay, there's a lot of people out there that may put me down for what I'm going to say, but if you don't have the responsibility now to tackle this problem, you're going to suffer later. Thank you. I'd like to add something to what I just said. I talked a lot about seeing. I didn't mention much about the breathing problem. Now, there are asthmatics. I've known like 2 asthmatics in my life, people who have asthma, and I know what the problem is. I've seen them suffer. And this, I'm sure smog, when we had that terrible, terrible smog problem in the early 50s, I saw a couple of my friends almost die from not being able to breathe. And I'll never forget what I saw. And I'm going to say that there are many people who suffer from different respiratory illnesses, and the smog doesn't make it easier. It makes it much tougher on a person like that to breathe. And people, let's say, that have a very normal, well-functioning respiratory system, their lungs are in fine shape. Smog, even, it doesn't matter if you're sick, well, or not. Smog is a hazard to all of us. And in order to function, let's say in order to live and be happy and to be able to think clearly, you've got to have, first of all, the elements. You've got to have good air to breathe. If you go out to Palm Springs, you go up to Santa Barbara, get away from the city for a few days, you'll realize. You wake up in the morning fresh, everything's groovy. You come back in Los Angeles, boom, there you go with another smog problem. Zap, you're on your butt, you don't want to do anything. I'll tell you, I've been so dragged by it and so depressed that I've actually slugged walls and thrown things around the house. And I know that it's no way to conduct your, let's say it's no way to act, okay? Well, I can't help it. Smog drives me to do these things. Smog has actually been called a potential homicide effect. It can make people actually want to go out and kill other people. Now, this is an extreme effect, but this is the potential of smog. Boy, and when I hear things like that, it makes me want to get involved in this thing in some way. Do my best. Okay, the way we can help is to make a record and more or less present the facts in some interesting manner. Not boring, but in some way that people can retain these facts and to sort of set up in their minds a goal to get rid of this shit. Because I'll tell you something, if it doesn't subside, I'm going to call the cops. Let's play that back.